Hi, my name is Matt. I'm a Focus alum. I am a HVAC small business owner. So I work in heating and air conditioning systems, repairing, installing, and designing them, as well as running the business side. So the question that I wanted to answer was, how does your work overlap with your calling as a Christian? So it's definitely something I've thought a lot about as I've tried to kind of figure out, like, what does it mean to work full time? And I think early on I had this idea that work was just something that was like a tool to reach out to coworkers. And I think over time I've realized that's a pretty shallow definition of what it means to work as a Christian. So as I've learned more about it, I've kind of rooted in like Genesis 1 and 2, looking at how God made us to essentially go out and he made creation kind of like partially finished. And then he gives us the work of going and tweaking it and being creative and coming up with things within creation to kind of finish it off. So you can see this when he says, like, go and name the animals. He could have named them himself, but he chose not to. And he was like genuinely curious about what humans would end up naming the animals. So yeah, there's been a lot of historical Christian insight into that, basically just saying, yeah, that is our job, to go out and be creative, and that's part of our calling as humans, regardless of whether you're a Christian or not. God has made us to be creative. So the way that looks for me is just, I would say one of the biggest things is trying to find ways to work creatively. And part of that has been starting my own business, as I've tried to work in a way that allows me to fulfill my calling as a Christian. So especially in the HVAC trade, there's a culture of overworking. We work a ton of hours during the summer. And so part of the creative aspect for me as a Christian is to say, what can we do differently in this area, instead of just being satisfied to say, well, this is just kind of the way things are. There's no way to change things. So that's kind of a large scale. On a smaller scale, I would say just like trying to do things really ethically that people may never see. So there's a lot of things that I work on that people have no idea if I do a good job or not. And sometimes doing a good job takes longer, and there's no way that something that wasn't done well would ever be tied back to me, because the failure, basically you're saying like, okay, if I spend the extra time to do this properly, it'll last 10 years instead of 8 years, So no one's ever going to, follow that back to you. But just as a Christian, trying to like provide really high quality things for people and do things right for people, kind of regardless of whether or not they're actually going to see that. So yeah, that's what I have to say. And I think encouragement or challenge would just be to not be too worried about what you're going to do when you get out of college, because I had a degree in international studies. I was a Focus apprentice for a year. I probably had 10 or 12 different jobs before I found this one. So again, just be willing to be adventurous and creative, and don't worry too much about, oh, is this going to be the exact specific job that is going to be the one that I do for the rest of my life? I think each job kind of gave me some things to work on, to apply to, like, okay, well, I didn't love that, but it kind of helps me move towards something. Maybe I'll try this because it's a little bit more in tune with what I did like about the previous one. So you kind of work your way towards something that you really do enjoy. So yeah, just don't worry too much about what you'll do for work. That's all. Thanks, guys.